Digital microscope review and test on vintage Soviet ultra tiny transistor radio. This is an Eaglet. And we're going to open this up and look at it. We did a previous video like this, and we did a small tube radio, which I'm getting all the information together on, and we're going to go back to that radio. Let's hope we can get this one to work in the first shot. So what we're reviewing here is the Joyalens JL210S Plus. Okay, instructions and microscope. Let me get this set up, and let's dig into this little tiny radio. You don't realize how small this is. I can't even imagine working on this. What pure torture. But this should help. So let me get this set up. I don't think it's that hard. Well, this thing is quite comprehensive. It comes with helping hands for soldering stuff, which I could use that occasionally. It comes with 2 lights here. I'm not going to set up the helping hands because we're going to be working on this radio, but it comes with some slides here. Takes me back to high school biology class. Let's see what I do. We've got some animal parts here. I wonder if we get a piece of squirrel. Pine stem. Onion, piece of an onion. Honeybee wing. Ooh, we do have animal pieces here. We got here honeybee worker leg composite. Ooh. Compound eye. Ooh, we have. It's like an eye out of an insect. That's pretty cool. It's attractive. This is one of the things I'm most interested in. Does it record audio, which it looks like it does, and what resolutions can I get? Because the other one I looked at, the resolutions were massive. I mean, you don't need huge bit rate for YouTube. You just don't. It's just a waste because they just compress it down. So let me look through here and see how I can set this up. Well, it looks like I can only do 4K 60 frame per second or 4K 30 frame per second, which I don't need that. I need 1080, 1920 by 1080 at like 10 megabits, not this huge file stuff. Okay, so let's look at this. I'm assuming it's recording audio. And the magnification on this is just way too insane. And getting the lighting right, oh man, this is going to be tough. But this radio is insane. We also have manual focus here, so we got to work with that. Here, I'll take the back off. And you can see the insanity here. So look at this thing. You try and focus it in as quick as best I can. So this uses little tiny, probably 2 little tiny cells. I know Zenith made a radio like this. It's got 2 audio output transformers. Let me pause it. Okay, so here's our interstage audio transformer right here. Then this is the audio output transformer. And again, that's a Exolite greenie you're seeing there. So that's how small that core is. This is a GT108. These are the transistors. This is a transistor right here. Transistor. These capacitors are known to short. GT309, GT309. My Russian friend did hook me up with the schematic and service data for this. I don't know if I can work on it. It is so small. Are these electrolytics right here? Is that what these are? To refocus this. I don't know what those are. Those must be electrolytics. Yeah, 10 microfarad. Let me grab my phone and we'll look at the schematic. So here's the service manual on this thing. And it's extremely comprehensive. Wouldn't it be nice? It looks like the IF is 465. Here's a schematic. The only problem is it's so damn small you can't really work on it. What I'm curious is, does it have any electrolytics in the coupling? And it does. It has one right there. Right there. That. Right off the volume control, that could be open. This is just a very standard AM radio with long wave. Here's all your voltages. Again, how the hell do you get to them to measure them, though? There's all your audio output voltages. And there, of course, is the capacitor that I'm talking about that's probably open, killing the whole thing. It's a service manual that's laid out to actually help you fix it. And here's your circuit print, your board. It's just like the best of the best. Here's all your coils. Focus is a little bit off there. I get it. Your coils. Incredible. You know, 1967, 1968. Well, let's try it. I kind of like the microscope, but let's try get into the radio and see if we can fix the radio. I should probably take a look at the files off this thing and see if they're usable. 4K, I mean, that's just huge. I think what we should do, since we are testing a microscope here that they sent in for review, is zoom in on this corrosion here and see how close in we can get on this. Let me work on that. Let me see how. Does this zoom? Which one is zoom? Interesting, it won't let you digitally zoom and record. So that's about the best I can get right there. Okay, Joyalens, show me what you got here. Ooh, what is that right there? there. What is that? A piece of hair? A piece of lint? And it looks like a cluster of wire. Wow, that is really, really zoomed in. That's the speaker. Yeah, this thing is like too powerful almost. This thing is insane how powerful this is. This will be great for fixing IF stuff and these bar transformers. This one, the zoom seems much bigger than the other one, much closer. (1971), that's probably about when this radio was made. I'm going to get a piece of surface mount gear. Alright, this is what this is really made for. Now it makes sense. 335 would be 3.3 microfarads at 10 volts. Right there, 3.3 microfarads at 10 volts. Cool. 104 would be 0.01. It's a monolithic ceramic capacitor. Okay. Yeah, this is cool. Okay, here's the compound eye. I thought with these slides you were supposed to backlight them. That you were supposed to shine the light from the bottom up. This looks like someone took a fly apart and put it in here. Anyway, yeah, the magnification of this thing is pretty sick. Anyway, let's see if we could get this radio to work. I took a look at the files and listened to the audio from the Joyalens 210S Plus, and their MP4 files are about 35 megabit, which is okay. They're 4K. I wish it had a 1080 selection, but we'll go with it. The image quality is pretty good. The sound is, it's voice. It's not great. But yeah, this one I think gets higher marks than maybe the other one. I don't know. Definitely we'll use this in the future. Using a microscope is something getting used to for me. So anyway, we're going to power this up. This is it runs on 3 volts, two little tiny 1.5 volt cells. So we'll try 3.2 volts from a lithium iron phosphate. And I missed this. This is the LED to backlight the slides that I talked about. It does come with a remote, HDMI cable, the helping hands. It comes with a whole bunch of other stuff that I didn't show in this video. We'll have to get more into this in the future. But I'm really focused on this. I'm going to be using 3.3 volts here. I got a meter. I got a current limiting light bulb. Let's see if I short this. The light bulb comes on and we get about 40 milliamps. So a safe way to do these is generally, since I don't know what's positive and what's negative here, is we know it's PNP germanium, so we'll attach the positive to the one of the IF cans here. And then we'll take the negative and we'll probe. Okay, so that looks like it's a dead short to there. So this must be negative. Ooh. Wow, what a current hog. Yeah, that should be medium wave. That could very well be bad capacitors. See if the oscillator's running. Well, the oscillator is running. You can see it here. If I tune this, yeah, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. I mean, at least we know that the front end is working, the converter and the tuning capacitor is working. Wow, well, there it is. It came apart pretty easy. And I think it might be worth recapping. I'm going to need to get those little low profile capacitors that they use in auto radios, those little tiny ones, because the regular size 10 microfarad is not going to fit in here. I'm checking the ESR on a bunch of these capacitors, and they're all basically 30 ohms or pretty close to dead. That's where this comes in real handy, to find the capacitor and then check it. Well, today is election day, 2024, and I got this on in the background, and we're going to try and get this little radio to work tonight and maybe tune in the results here. I went and picked up some of the little low-profile capacitors. These are, I could only get 22s, 22 at 6.3 volts. So those should be okay for this. The ESR is really bad on these small capacitors. Really, with electrolytics, the bigger the better. Physical size, the bigger the better. So I'm going to start recapping, and we'll see if we could get this to work, hopefully before the election's called. Why not? We'll try and make it challenging. The recapping of the electrolytic capacitors is complete. Let's fire it up and see if it works. Let's try this out. I got it hooked up to this speaker temporarily. All these little wires broke off. So let's see. Ooh, that's a good sound.
House control of the house right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, literally the control of the house majority is running through California, my district specifically. So a lot on this. Big man is going to sit high for re-election in the Antelope Valley. Ken Calvert, who's running for re-election in the Inland. Oh, you got left in terms of attracting a captive. Maybe because I'm a downswing. In the competitive states. Looking at Fox News, they've already called for Donald Trump specifics for Kamala Harris. If she loses Georgia and North Carolina, that pretty much would be it. And if that were to happen, feasibly they could call the election tonight. Wow. If that were to happen. But so when the polls close at 8 o'clock, and again, I will remind our listeners here, yes, the polls are open until 8 o'clock. You have a little more than 20,
Wow, it's could be the lighting in here, but it's noisy.
He's such a good athlete. He can play a receiver. I think to score losing to 639,000 and change. That couldn't be any closer. Again, we don't know. Both players, the Lakers are in. Don't expect to see any. The person who won a primary made it to the top. Democrat state. We like.
Where's KNX? Okay, here's the clap.
California to the world at GoCountryGold.com.
Wonder why it's so noisy. But there's a country station. Okay, here's KNX.
Visit your local Verizon store now. This offer won't last long. Only on Verizon.
Okay, I brought it outside. Election night. Let's do a band sweep here. That's the volume all the way up. Have to go real slow.
Southern California locations. Venice Beach, Encino, Hollywood, Culver City. You know what we're doing because we love you. Coco has 13 chances. 13 chances to win $1,000, not just tomorrow.
So the one keeps this building running like new. Call the great.
Election night, and it's all commercials on every station.
This industry. Abner Gadd has one of the largest teams of
Bomb threats, they affected at least 4 battleground states, including Georgia, but no impact on the results of the U.S. election.
Management talk. And then with Embiid, you're right. Easter only on NFL Network. President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association to talk about the initiatives.
All commercials. All commercials. This is why radio and TV are dying and podcasts are taking over.
Yeah, one of the things that we know is that the best messaging about this kind of stuff comes from messengers who are
In those that are needed for signature verification.
well, messengers that usually.
The highest number we've seen at this hour for Donald Trump is 242 of the 270 electoral college votes needed. Huffington Post has him at 242. Huffington Post at 242. And then John Wynn Jr. gave us this news moments ago from the New York Times. John, give it to me one more time. Well, now I gotta see what it's saying now. What it's looking like now. Shoot, I might have jumped that. Last time it was 88% last time. It was 87%. Actually, it is now 83%. So the New York Times is working with the fluctuating algorithm.
Yeah, but I just don't agree with them making a projection when our polls haven't closed. Just be quiet.
16년에 이런 일이 있었고 과거로 거슬러 올라가면
That must be KBLA.
1876년 the chance of winning they're not 뭐 초반입니다만
Okay, there's a country station. So here's what I would say about it. For a novelty radio, it works really good. I should check the current draw on it. Maybe we'll do that before I put it away. And I'll show you what batteries I got to work with it. 1/4 AAA. For a novelty radio, it seems to work really good. It's really should be used with an earphone, though, because the speaker is just too small and it doesn't have enough power. I don't know what this has, 10 or 20 milliwatts. It's got to be nothing.
Once that industry matures and people give you
police resources and stresses the criminal justice.
Here are a couple ideas for batteries. This is a 3.6 volt lithium non-rechargeable, so you'd have to put a diode in series with that to drop a 0.5 volt or so. These are rechargeable. These are 1/3 AAA nickel metal hydride, and these are for solar lights. And these might actually work pretty good if I could figure out how to solder wires to them.
process. Well, the great thing about this country is we have the freedom of speech. And I don't know
For a minute, anyway.
Well, but we have to take it extremely seriously in this country, and we do. And so
We do?
How do you put guardrails around
This is
freedom of
KNX.
speech? That's a very difficult question because you have to sort through.
So
what
it's
misinformation is. There's always
it's
gonna be
pretty good for a
misinformation.
novelty
And to
radio.
what
It really
degree
is.
Is there misinformation that you? This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant.
So it's like it's about 7 milliamps,
service.
and then looks really efficient.
Cultural enrichment. On board and on shore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more.
All inclusive with no children.
National update now from CBS. It's 8 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. CBS News projects former President Donald Trump will win Idaho, Iowa, and Kansas, while Vice President Harris is projected to win California, with Oregon and Washington likely for Harris. Voter turnout was heavy across much of the presidential battleground state of North Carolina.
It's our election coverage here on KNX News. It's 9
I
o'clock.
don't know how many.
By O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. CBS News projects Vice President Harris will win Connecticut, Oregon, and Washington State. Former President Donald Trump is projected to win North Carolina and Nebraska. So far, that gives Trump 230 electoral votes and Harris 172. 270 electoral votes are needed to win. CBS's Nancy Cordes is at Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign headquarters at Howard University, her alma mater in Washington, D.C. Her supporters taking center stage at polling places across the country.
I voted for Kamala Harris. I think she's the right choice.
Well, it's 9:58 p.m. here in the West, and KNX has just gone to commercials. So I think something's about ready to be announced here. I think it's kind of interesting to get it announced on this radio. This is the price of the radio, right?
Good night for Donald Trump. 2 swing states for him. Georgia, North Carolina. He's leading in so many other crucial states right now. Also confirmed Kamala Harris will not be speaking tonight. Our coverage continues right now with CBS News.
Only on KNX News 97.1 FM.
10 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. An announcement a short time ago at Vice President Kamala Harris's headquarters at Howard University. It comes as former President Donald Trump leads Harris in electoral votes so far, 246 to 194, and CBS News projects Trump will win the battleground state of Georgia. Harris campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond tells
We
supporters,
will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight.
but Richmond says Harris will speak tomorrow. CBS News characterizes U.S. Senate control as leaning Republican. Republican U.S. Senator Marco Rubio of
You
Florida.
look at Philadelphia, I think the Philadelphia and its suburbs have the highest increase in food costs of anywhere in the country. That's a factor here tonight. That's a factor in this election.
CBS News projects a decisive re-election win for Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson to keep his seat in the U.S. House. Speaker Johnson expresses optimism for the rest of his party.
Republicans regain control, which we pray tonight.
This is Southern California's news.
Donald Trump wins the presidency. Saw his MAGA hats last night, 45 and 47 on the side. Republicans taking the Senate.
Nathan Hochman is going to be taking the district attorney's office in L.A. County.
We got the winds today. Could go those power shutoffs. So really high fire danger all through this afternoon.
Only on KNX News 97.1 FM.
7 o'clock. This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Donald Trump is making plans after becoming the first president in over a century to reclaim the White House after losing it.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness.
He delivered his victory speech in West Palm Beach before a sweeping victory that included the battleground states of Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, and CBS News projects Wisconsin. A senior advisor is promising unity to the markets, and the dollar rose sharply on the Trump win. On Wall Street, the Trump trade has gone into overdrive. The Dow is up 1,272 points in early trading. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger expects volatility. Don't know which policies will be enacted. We don't know how they'll be enacted. And we have to be patient and long-term and try to stick to our game plans. Tesla and Bitcoin are both soaring. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for...
So I realized something listening to this little radio last night, and I finally had to just confirm it with myself. They're calling this the podcast presidency. And the mainstream media, you know, what I grew up with, what we grew up with, you know, CBS 60 Minutes, you know, Face the Nation, even KNX radio here I was listening to, and they really had just kind of one-sided coverage of it, that these people were going to just be all upset if the election went this way. And I realized that the mainstream media is dying. And, you know, I've had a lot of people that are actually in the know, in the business, tell me that the views are down so low. And it's, you know, historically, anyone, you know, in the lead for president would always do 60 Minutes. Now you do Rogan. And, you know, the voices that are heard are two people sitting at a table behind two SM7Bs, not on CNN or CBS anymore. So it's kind of unhappy in a way that, you know, I'm into all these old TVs and radios, and that's really the legacy media that's dying, and it's going to be a very different picture in 10 years. You know, I've often said I don't know how much modern content will be available for these devices, and you could really see last night, I had to be honest with myself, that is shrinking, and that, you know, these big legacy media companies are going to be going away. So, you know, hopefully not for a while, and hopefully they can adapt and change, and they're going to get it too. You know, hopefully they'll get it too and adapt. You know, but it's not a good look for the old school thing. It's being replaced by phones and the internet. And like I said, podcasts are becoming the new podcasts, and social media are replacing the TV in the house and the radio. And the radio kind of went away a long time ago, but yeah, it's a new era, and we just have to admit it. So anyway, there's a sort of a odd video on a little, what they call this, the Eaglet, Soviet radio, and the Microscope, and the election. It's way too damn early in the morning.